Welcome to the Ask Donna Advocacy in Action podcast, hosted by Donna J. Jodhan, a world-renowned advocate, author, blogger, sight loss coach, dinner mystery writer, and producer, entrepreneur, law graduate, and podcast commentator. Drawing on her vast experience, Donna is here to guide you through the world of advocacy, showing you how to be an effective and powerful advocate in your everyday life. In this podcast, you'll learn what advocacy truly means, how it's used, why it's essential, who uses it, and when to apply it, whether for simple tasks or major challenges. Advocacy is not for the faint of heart, but is something that everyone can practice. Success comes through persistence, patience, and unwavering commitment. Tune in and discover how to make advocacy part of your daily life.
Hello, and I'm Donna J. Jodhan, your host for the monthly podcast titled Ask Donna Advocacy in Action. And we started our Advocacy in Action redo or reformat in January, and so far we have had a lot of listeners telling us how pleased they are with the new feature or the new way that we are presenting our Ask Donna Advocacy in Action monthly podcast. It's all about showing you how to become better advocates, how to use advocacy as part of your daily life to become more confident and independent at what you do. Because it is only through being more confident and more independent that we will progress and that we will be able to stand up more firmly and in a more committed manner for ourselves and for others and for those we love. So thank you very much to everyone for all of your encouraging emails, your feedback, your thoughts, your suggestions, and your comments. Please keep them coming to me at my personal email, which is donnajodhan@gmail.com. That's DonnaJodhan@gmail.com. Or you can send it to me at askdonnaonblindlife@gmail.com. I have been an advocate since year 2000, and I have used my many roles as an advocate, author, blogger, sight loss coach, dinner mystery writer and producer, entrepreneur, law graduate, and podcast commentator to share my thoughts and my ideas, to share my articles and my blogs. And I am very humbled to admit that I have become a world-renowned advocate. And I want to pass on my knowledge and my skills and my expertise to my listeners. So thank you again to everyone. And thank you to my little brother in Montreal, Michael, for continuing to walk the walk with me. Michael and I have known each other for a very long time. He is my so-called little brother. All right. Oh, and hello to Heather. All right. Okay. So, advocacy in action. What is it all about? Okay. And for the month of April 2025, I would like to start by telling you about an announcement that I promised I would make for the month of April. It all has to do with me encouraging, motivating, and just sparking people to reach for the stars, reach for the sky, reach over the big blue horizon. All right? And I'm doing this by selling something to you, which is nothing new, but I am resurrecting the pet rock. hold this little pet rock in your hand whenever you feel that you need to find that extra bit to motivate you. Just buy my pet rock, write to me at donnajodhan@gmail.com, and I will tell you how to buy this pet rock. You will be able to see it very soon on www.etsy.com/shop/blindlybrilliant or at accesspark.com. I'm also increasing my pottery lines on Etsy, where I'll be selling seasonal products. So please visit www.etsy.com/shop/blindlybrilliant or accesspark.com to learn more. All right, so that is my Etsy announcement, okay, and my Access Park announcement, okay. All right. This is my quote, and this is what I live by, and this is what my philosophy is all about. Advocacy has no color, no shape, and no size. Advocacy has no limit, no guarantee, and no expectation. Advocacy can only be successful through hard work and persistent commitment. This is my personal quote from me to you. And now for my inspirational message for the month of April. As April unfolds, embrace the promise of renewal and growth. Just as nature blossoms, okay, with vibrant colors, okay, let this month inspire you to your dreams and to take bold steps towards your goals. Okay? Every day an opportunity to begin again. Keep moving forward. Okay? And watch the seeds that you plant today blooming to a brighter tomorrow. Okay? You can read this message in my show notes, which I will be happy to send to you, because I know it is awfully difficult to listen and take notes all at the same time. So let us, take this message to heart. Listen to what it says. It's all about taking your dreams, making them happen, and it's all about watching the seeds that you plant today bloom into a brighter tomorrow. All right? Okay. So, write to me at AskDonna on blindlife@gmail.com or write to me at donnajodhan@gmail.com. All right. What do I really mean when I say advocacy in action? What really is advocacy? Many of us, including me in the good old days, had some very interesting thoughts as to what advocacy was all about. And many of us, including me in the good old days, chose to run away from advocacy because for some unearthly reason we felt that advocacy had to do with stirring up trouble, to causing confusion, to making waves. But that's not what advocacy is all about. Advocacy really is working towards increasing your confidence, your independence, and making sure that your rights are protected, recognized, and everything else. Recognize your rights. Protect your rights. Understand your rights. This is what advocacy is all about. Advocacy is not a bad word. Advocacy is a good word because it means so many different things, and it can be used in so many different ways. Advocacy is when we speak up for an issue or a situation that is close to our heart, close to the hearts of others that we love, close to the hearts of others that we care about. We speak out. We speak up and we speak out when something is not right in our minds. Maybe when our rights have been trampled upon, when our rights are not being protected, when our rights are not being recognized. And in these very trying days, we need to stand together more, not just within our own country, but around the world, to ensure that our rights are not forgotten, that our rights are recognized and protected. This is what advocacy is all about. Advocacy is when we engage with others, when we look around us and we say, hey, in order to have strength in numbers, we got to engage with each other. We got to communicate with each other. Engage and communicate, and to reach out. So we engage, we communicate, and we reach out past our own selves into communities, into circles, into round tables. Okay? All right. And who gets involved in advocacy? Anyone and everyone. Anyone of any age, from the youngest to the oldest. You know something? When you think of a toddler, 3-4 years old, saying, I don't want this, or I like this, believe it or not, this is advocacy. So at a very young age, we can start by showing our little ones how to get engaged in advocacy in a constructive way, in a powerful way, and in a meaningful way. Okay? So it could be anyone from a toddler to a child under the age of teenage years, a high school student. So, let's go back here a little bit. The toddler saying, I'd like this, Mom, or I don't like this, Dad. They're advocating. To the preteen who says, I want to play more with my friends. You may not think of it as advocacy, but it is advocacy, because it's someone who is speaking up and speaking out. Okay? That's what it's all about. A high school student who says, I'm tired of the bullying on the playground now. Please listen to me, coach. Please help me to stop the bullying. This is advocacy. A college or university student advocating for exams to be presented in a more accessible format. And this applies to students with a disability. Okay? Or students who are maybe dyslexic, or students who, have cognitive learning disabilities. A professional who is advocating for better conditions in the workplace. This is what or who gets involved in advocacy. Who gets involved in advocacy? An unemployed person who says, what? I want to advocate more for better programs for the unemployed. Who is it? It is the unemployed person. A mom. A mom gets involved. Yes, why not? She gets involved on behalf of her child. Okay? A dad doing the same thing. Who gets involved in advocacy? A mom and a dad. A single parent. Yes, a single parent advocating for better ways for them as a single parent to be able to help their children. That is who gets involved in advocacy. A semi-retiree preparing to retire. They are the ones who can get involved in advocacy, standing up for things that they will need when they retire. And the retiree, they are the ones who can get involved in advocacy. They are advocating for things that they need in their retirement years. And a senior, advocating for better living conditions in their long-term care homes or even in their own homes. This is who gets involved in advocacy. And a person with a disability. Let's not forget the person with a disability. This is who can get involved in advocacy. A person with a disability. So you see, there are so many types of people, so many different types of people who can get involved in advocacy. And why is advocacy necessary? Advocacy is necessary when we want to raise issues that are important and very, very important to us personally, to those around us, and to those we love. To raise awareness of issues that society is still grappling to understand. Issues that society needs to understand. Issues that are important enough to affect our daily lives. Why is advocacy necessary? So we're talking about why is it necessary? So that we could train others to campaign for an issue, to campaign for a cause, to petition, to write petitions to our MPs, our MPPs, to our provincial government, to our federal government, to our municipal government, to change an existing situation. Okay? Very important, to change an existing situation or to create something new. This is why we get into advocacy, to change an existing situation to make it better, or something new, to create something new. And how does one get involved in advocacy? You can do it on your own, which is not an easy path at the best of times, and it's not for the faint of heart. You can do it with others. You can do it with groups. You can do it in collaboration with agencies. You can do it on social media. Use social media to spread the message. Okay? To build awareness. To draw others into your cause. You can do it through podcasts by interviewing others or letting others interview you. Through blogs, articles, and editors. And through press releases. Yes, press releases are very, very effective. Through interviews that you can have with others or by interviewing others. Through roundtables, that means gathering stakeholders with common causes, bringing them to the table and facilitating a topic or a group of related topics. And through conferences, you go to conferences, you make presentations, okay? And through town halls, very, very effective way Town halls is where you give people or others the opportunity, give participants the opportunity to share their ideas, their thoughts, to bring up their issues, and where you yourself can respond to their concerns. Okay? When do you get involved in advocacy? When it affects you directly, when it affects others that you care about, when you have a concern, a passion, or a dream, or an interest, right? This is what advocacy is all about. Think of the what, think of the why, think of the how, and think of the when. What, why, how, and when. Okay? Now, I'm going to go further with this and say that you have to learn how to pick your battle when you enter into any form of advocacy. You have to think of which one do you think could be most achievable to you. Sometimes you make errors in thinking, well, I think this could be more achievable, or that one could be more achievable. An example would be, you think it's probably more achievable to advocate for library services, or you think it could be more achievable to advocate for more accessible sidewalks. You are the only one who can decide which battle to you is more achievable. Base it on your strength and your energy and the resources that you have at your disposal. Okay? Which is most achievable? Which one most excites or interests you? So let's go back to the example of the library services or the accessible sidewalk. Which is most exciting or interesting to you? And it all depends on your needs and your requirements. You might think, well, you know what? I want to have access or greater access to books. So you will go for the first one, library services. Or it may be more accessible sidewalks. It's more important to you to be able to walk along sidewalks that are accessible and that are free of obstacles. Only you can decide this. Bit of advice, words of advice from me. Don't let anyone influence you. Influence yourself. Okay? Which one satisfies you the most? The library services battle or the accessible sidewalk battle? Which one will make you most happy? Think of that as well. Think of the length of time you believe it would take for you to achieve victory in your battle. And you don't always achieve victory in your battle. Think of what you believe the level of victory or success would be in your battle, and the amount of resources that you will need in order to obtain this. Okay? You got to plan your strategy. Do your research. Who do you contact while you're doing your research? What method are you going to be using? An online method, face-to-face method? That means talking with others. Research in the library itself. We were just talking about the library. What type of research? Is it hardcore research that you're going to go out there and talk with others, or is it more of the virtual type of research, online research on your own? So there are different types of research, okay? And there's a combination of both types of research. Think of it that way. What method are you going to use? What message are you going to convey? It's very important to convey the right type of message. A message that is written professionally, powerfully, appropriately, and a message that really grabs the attention of the reader and the listener. Okay? It is important for you to remember that when you put a message out there, you want to grab the attention of the listener. Okay? Follow up. You've got to follow up. You just cannot put a message out there and don't follow up. I would say follow up in about 2 weeks' time with what you're getting involved in. Okay? Don't let it lag for too long. Don't procrastinate. You put your message out there, follow up on it. Don't let it lag. Okay? Now I'm going to have a little fun with you. A word game. Let's look at this. What is the difference between organizational reps versus community reps? An organizational rep is someone who represents an organization, who is the spokesperson for that organization. And in most cases, an organizational rep would normally be asked to toe the line. They may not have much wiggle room to express their own opinions. Just remember this. This is what the organizational rep is all about. The community rep, on the other hand, is the person who has more wiggle room, who has more latitude to represent the ideas, the thoughts, the feedback, and opinions of their community. So an organizational rep is someone who is more directed towards working with an agency for the blind, and in some instances an agency of the blind. But a community rep is more has more latitude to represent their community, and they're more consumer based. The organizational rep is less consumer based in many instances. The community rep is more consumer based in many instances. Okay? Let's go to the next word game. Excluded or included. And this is what many advocates need to think about. Am I being excluded? Am I being included? Of course, we want to be more included. And if we feel that we are being more excluded, we have to find ways to be more included. Excluded versus included. And we have to determine before we enter into any sort of advocacy, are we being excluded or are we being included? If we are being excluded, why are we being excluded? And what can we do to be more included? If we are being included, how can we take advantage of this to increase our advocacy powers, or powers of advocacy? Those are my 2 word games for this month. All right. I'm going to share 3 different stories with you for this month. Okay? Here is the first story, and here's the title. Mom and daughter in advocating for the daughter to be included on a mixed hockey team. This is advocacy, and this is what the mom, Isabella, wanted her little girl, Rosina, to be included on a mixed hockey team. So what did she do? She went to the coach. She didn't get very far with the coach because the coach kept saying, well, little girls are not as tough as little boys, and Rosina will be bowled over or Rosina will be hurt. She next went to the principal of the school. The principal listened intently, and the principal was very sympathetic and empathetic, but still kind of waffling, not sure how to deal with this. Next, Isabella went further, and when she went up the ladder, to the school board and pleaded her case with her daughter in tow. This had more of an effect because the board listened. The board was convinced that Rosina needed to be given an opportunity to play on the hockey team. And the little hockey league was contacted. People were engaged. People were, asked to come to town halls to discuss this issue. It took some time. It took over a year, at least a year, but it did work out at the end. Okay? And it was the same for the mom, Heather, and her daughter, Tanya, who followed in the footsteps of Isabella and Rosina. After they saw what happened, in the case of Isabella and Rosina, they followed suit. We had a coach, Darius, who was adamant that the little girl be excluded. But you know what? In the case of Heather and Tanya, Heather was the best goalie, right? And her teammates supported her in her effort. But there were two members who agreed with Coach Darius in this case. And Tanya and Heather followed in the footsteps of Isabella and Rosina and went to the principal. And they presented their case to the school board. This is what happened. So you have two examples here of Isabella and Rosina setting the pace for Heather and Tanya to follow suit. Okay? Advocacy here in this case is all about advocating for a little girl to be included on a mixed team of hockey players. Who gets involved in advocacy? Both Isabella and Rosina and Heather and Tanya, moms and daughters. Why is advocacy necessary here? Because the moms and daughters, they want the daughters to be included on the team, on the mixed team. And how does one get involved in advocacy? You start first by, or in this case, they started first by going to the coach, then the principal, then up the line to the school board, and then engaging in awareness building. When to get involved in advocacy? When there is a cause, when there is an issue, and in this case, having daughters included on mixed hockey teams. Here comes the second story that I chose for you for this month. Okay? It's all about a vision impaired customer advocating for touch screens where they are purchasing their fast food. Okay? So vision impaired customers advocating for touch screens at fast food restaurants. And here's the story. Marlena wanted to be able to make her own choices when choosing her food and her drink. Okay? She did not want her sighted friend to make the choice for her. She did not want her sighted friend to be reading the screen to her. She spoke to the restaurant manager. No success at all in any way. The manager kept saying, well, no, it's too costly. I can't do it. I have to depend on head office. Absolutely not. Marlena then wrote a letter to the head office of this fast food chain. Not fat food. What am I saying here? She wrote a letter to the head office of the fast food chain. There was no response. None. Okay? she took her story to social media. She started an online petition on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, and others helped her to do it. She built momentum by doing all of this. Hard work, very hard work. What is advocacy in this case? It is all about Marlena advocating for touchscreens that she can use to independently choose her choice of food and drink. Who gets involved in advocacy in this case? Marlena does. It's a solo effort to start with. Why is it necessary? Because Marlena wants her independence and her ability to be able to do this all on her own when she goes into a fast food restaurant. And how do you get involved in advocacy in this case? Get involved the way Marlena did, through letter writing, through online petitions, through social media methods, or strategies, When to get involved in advocacy? In this case, when Marlena felt that her independence was being trampled upon, Now for my third story of the month, And better banking services at a bank branch. And here's the story. At this particular bank branch, it is very difficult for customers with disabilities to get proper and equal services. Customers have constantly complained to management that they have to wait for very long periods of time before they are helped. And even at that, they have to keep repeating to the customer reps exactly what they are seeking help to assist them in filling out forms and doing their transactions. Management has attempted to take complaints up the line, but upper management either is not listening, is not aware, may be too busy to care. Some customers have started processes to take their accounts elsewhere. They're taking their accounts elsewhere. And they've started a campaign to ask others to take their accounts elsewhere. It's hard work. It's hard work because the customers with disabilities have to convince their mainstream friends that this is a worthwhile cause. And this is what has been going on at this customer branch. What is advocacy in this case? Advocacy is where customers with disabilities are advocating for better banking services at their branch. And who gets involved in advocacy in this case? It is the customer with a disability. Why is it necessary? Because they want to have services or improvement in services. Improvement in their banking services at their bank branch. And how do you get involved in advocacy? Again, through contacting your branch manager, through persistence, lots of persistence. And if that doesn't work with the branch manager trying their best to catch the attention of those in authority, then the next step is to engage others around you. When do you get involved in advocacy? When you are directly affected. So in this case, when the customer with a disability is directly affected. All right. So there you have it. And I'm going to end excuse me, my podcast with a bit of this and a bit of that from Donna's Did You Know Diary for the month of April 2025. I'm ending on a lighter note. Okay? I have 10 tips for you. They're practical, natural, and logical. Okay? You want to have these tips sent to you? Please send me an email to donnajodhan@gmail.com or ask Donna on blindlife@gmail.com. These tips are practical and natural. Number 1. But first, use what I have learned for this particular month. What is the difference between Tylenol and Panadol? Very simple. Okay? Medically, nothing. Tylenol is manufactured in North America and Panadol is manufactured in the UK. Both pills do the same thing. Both pills help with the same thing. Number 2. If you're looking for ways to stretch your laundry liquid or your dish soap liquid, here's what you do. And I do this all of the time. It's really easy. Just dilute your soap. Okay? So take your bottle of pure soap, all right? And you're going to pour half of that liquid of the pure soap into another bottle. Then you fill both bottles with water. Okay? So do half and half, and then you do fill the rest of the both bottles with water. Shake well before you use. Okay? Just remember that on the whole, both laundry soap and dish soap are very, very soapy. So diluting it really doesn't do too much. It just stretches your soap. So no harm can come from adding a bit of water. Number 3. What's this about downtrodden Mondays? It's absolutely just a false belief. You know that song by Karen Carpenter that said, rainy days and Mondays always get me down? It's not really true, you know. No, Mondays are no better or no worse than any other Monday. Remember that. Number 4. Number 4, about thumbprints. Here's what I recently found out. Okay? Every thumbprint is unique. So your thumbprint is unique to my thumbprint. Okay? Your thumbprint is different than my your thumbprint is different to my thumbprint. Yes, it is. Number 5. Here is an important tip when someone appears to be choking. Give them a morsel of bread to eat. Small morsel. The hard morsel of bread would help to push down the food that is blocking the passage. Okay? The hard morsel of bread will do that. Okay? Number 6. What's this about taking your cough syrup? According to pharmacists, you should not take cough syrup for more than 7 days in a row. No, according to pharmacists. Okay? Number 7, and it's all about the rocking chair. You know, babies love to be rocked by moms, especially when they're being nursed. Yeah, nice and soothing, babies being rocked. Number 8, if you have dropped your eye device or your hearing aid into water, you can certainly revive it. And how do you do this? Fetch a small bowl of uncooked rice. Make sure that the rice is at room temperature and gently place your eye device or your hearing aid into this bowl of uncooked rice. Leave this to drain until all of the water has been drained out of your eye device or your hearing aid. Presto, your eye device or your hearing aid is back to normal. This happened to my mom a few weeks ago. She dropped her hearing aid into water. And presto, we brought out the bowl of uncooked rice. She put her hearing aid gently into it, and the water drained out of the hearing aid, and soon enough her hearing aid was back to normal. Here's some trivia about the magnificent albatross bird. Here are a few facts. The average span in the wild for an albatross is 30 years. The albatross has the largest wingspan of any living bird. And the albatross can fly for about 500 miles on any given day, and at 80 miles per hour for 8 hours without flapping its wings. Isn't that powerful? Wow! Okay? Isn't that something? Part of the secret is the albatross locking its elbow joints. Okay? And this enables the albatross to spend very little energy and not flap its wings. So when it locks its elbows, the wings are able to, spend less energy. That's how it does it. And an albatross can go for years without touching land. And they can live and raise chicks into their 60s. Believe it or not, my God, they can live and raise chicks into their 60s. They mate for life, but there is a bit of wiggle room. And they can smell food in the water from about 12 miles away. Finally, these amazing birds are at risk for extinction. Yes, indeed. Number 10, final tip from me for this month, and it's all about earthquakes. I recently learned that the first shock of an earthquake is more pronounced than the aftershock. Okay? Okay. If you want to contact me, please send an email to me at donnajodhan@gmail.com or ask Donna on blindlife@gmail.com. If you'd like to get a copy of these 10 tips or a copy of my podcast for this month or any month, please send me an email and ask me to send you the show notes, and I will be more than happy to do so. The word game is very, very important. It's where it gets you to think more deeply and to think more innately. That's it for me for this month, folks. I want to thank you again for dropping by to listen to me. I hope that you make advocacy more and more a part of your daily life and use it to improve your personal profile and your professional profile. I'm Donna J. Jodhan, wishing you a great rest of April. You guys take care and stay safe. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Ask Donna, Advocacy in Action. Donna truly appreciates your time and support. Remember, your thoughts, comments, and feedback are always welcome. Just send them over to donnajodhan@gmail.com. Remember, together we can keep making a difference. Until next time, stay safe, stay strong, and keep advocating.